Why don't they just stay with us? I finished my suggestion and shot Will a quick glance. He, in turn, looked hopefully at his mother. "That's very sweet of you," my mother began, but in my excitement, I interrupted her. "Great! Will and I can just share my room, and you guys can… I don't know. Mom will figure it out." But my mother cleared her throat and replied, "Mike, what is the matter?" "We can't ask that of you," Joyce said gently, and Will tried to convince her otherwise. "I wouldn't mind sharing a room with Mike. It'd be like a sleepover," but my mother politely turned the idea down, and I immediately let my shoulders slump in frustration. "I don't get it," I muttered rebelliously, throwing Will another quick glance. He looked disappointed too. I was pretty upset about it, and ended up begging my mom almost every day afterward to let the Byers family stay with us. Apparently, my mother eventually developed too much guilt, because in the end, she offered it to them herself. Hopper's cabin was simply too small for the whole Byers family, and the military shelter they'd been staying in was being shut down. I could hardly believe it when I found out that all my begging and pleading had actually worked, and that the Byers family would now stay with us until they found a new home. A part of me, buried deep inside, had even hoped they wouldn't find a new house anytime soon, but I quickly felt ashamed of that thought. Even though the world seemed to be falling apart, and we were basically living in quarantine, I was doing far better than I had the previous year. When everything seemed normal and the Byers lived in California, it was probably painfully obvious how happy I was that Will, Jonathan, and Joyce were moving in with us, because Nancy repeatedly pointed out how surprised she was by my eagerness to make room for Will's mattress in the basement. I'd actually offered my mom several times to let Will share my room, but she insisted that Joyce take my room, the Byers boys sleep in the basement, and that I share a room with Nancy instead. I think my mother just wanted to make sure Nancy and Jonathan slept in separate rooms. Maybe my reaction had been a little too obvious when I spent the entire day complaining about how much I would have preferred sharing a room with Will. But Nancy ignored me. Still, could anyone really blame me for being happy to have my best friend back? I'll admit it, I really was happy that he was back in Hawkins instead of California. But unfortunately, there was one downside to all of this. Ever since I started seeing Will every single day again, I'd basically been forced to question my sexuality, and that terrified me.